Hello YouTube, Big MU Gamer here, and today I'm going to be doing a review on 4 different cases for the Xperia Play. Now, some of you have seen the review I did of the first case that I bought for my Xperia Play. If you haven't, the link is down there below, you can check it out. I'm going to do a follow-up of that case, and then after that I'm going to do a review on 4 other cases that I have bought for my Xperia Play since then. So, before I go on, let me first do a follow-up of the first case that I bought for my Xperia Play. Now, this first case that I bought, right here, you may remember from the review, it's got this little ridge that was built into it, which is most likely for angling the Xperia Play towards you. So if you're going to use like a Bluetooth controller. Now this was a good case. My first case that I bought, I liked it. It was okay. Like $3. After a while though, as you can see here, there's a tooth there, there's a tooth here, there's a tooth here, and this tooth, can't even get it in the lights. It's no longer there. Here, let me flip it over. There. You can see it's broken off. It doesn't show up very well in the light because it's broken off. So when it broke off, it still gripped, but it was easy to just pop that side off. So I had to get myself a new case. So I did a little searching on eBay, and for another $3, I think it was, I bought this case. Now this one, I'm not going to do too much of a review on it. It's a piece of crap, and I'm going to tell you right now, avoid it. Now obviously you can tell it doesn't have that that large lifter in the back. It's flat, so it doesn't angle it towards you. There's a open hole here for the logo. It's got the full teardrop, unlike my previous one, which I kind of prefer. As you notice, it's a half teardrop with a hole for the microphone, and it's got like the full opening on both sides, you know, for the speaker and the 3.5-inch jack. You know, they just need a little speaker slot here. It doesn't have to be this far open, but it does. Let's see, this one's got the it's got the microphone cut out there. This one, you know, it's got everything that, you know, you would expect the case to have. The volume control, the volume rocker was actually easier to access on this one than my previous one. If you notice, the where it bends, it's right around the center, right? So while there was a lot of room up here, there wasn't very much room down here for the volume rocker, so it was somewhat hard to push down. But you can see this, even though there's even though it's connected here, you notice where the bend is, it's halfway, so there's more room down here. It made the volume rocker easy to access, which is like one of the only benefits that this case had over my previous case. So, you know, I got this, and if you can see, one of the nubs, it's pushed downward. It's recessed right into it. It's like physically bent downward. Like, it just looks horrible. And the one on this side, which actually broke a week after I got it, was actually it was actually reversed. It was like sticking upwards at an angle. So when it's on the Xperia Play, it's like off at an angle. It's skewed, and it's just horrible. Just a crappy case, you know. So that, no, actually first it was the top piece that broke. So you can see there's a tooth there. The tooth here is the one that broke off, I think. The tooth there and a tooth there. So this one broke off. So as soon as this broke, I started using the top of my old case. And then as soon as this part broke, like a week later, I started using the bottom of this one. So I was back to my old case after like 2 weeks. So this thing is a piece of garbage. So anyways, don't buy that one. because, you know, it's just going to break after a couple of weeks. Alright, so the third one that I got normally goes for about $15, but I was lucky enough on an auction to only bid 99 cents on it, and then a couple of days later I got it. So I was pretty happy about that. And it's a clear, transparent one, transparent plastic. It's pretty good. It still works. Nothing is broken off on it. It's got a tooth here. It's got a tooth there, a tooth here, and a tooth here in the corner. These two corner teeth are quite tight, so it's very tight fitting to the Xperia Play. So you're going to want to put on these two first. No, you're going to want to put on a corner first, and then these two, and then slide a corner on. And I'll put this on in a minute. This pretty nice. It's got the large teardrop, which I didn't really care for. It's got a recess in there for the Xperia Play logo. Once again, it's got like a full opening, you know, on both sides. It has the teeth in a corner. There's one here, and then there's another one here, but this time, instead of them being along the sides, they're along the front face plate here. There's one there, and there's one there. I got a clear one because I eventually wanted to get a skin for my phone, something that covers this side, the front, the top side, bottom, and the volume rocker side, and the other top side. So it's like 8 sides altogether. Actually, I only found one place that does the top side, the bottom side, the bottom, and both of the other sides, but they don't do the face, which is weird. And they told me that because of the design of the phone, they don't do the face, but yet other companies do the face, the top, the face, and the bottom, but they don't do the sides. But that's a rant for another video, I guess. So anyways, here, we'll put this on and we'll show you how it looks. So I had this case. I've probably had this case. So here. So put this on first, I guess, and then these click into place just like that. Now if you look, you'll notice this side, how far it sort of comes down. It dips down, and on the other side it does the exact same thing, but it doesn't dip down as far. So this side, I believe, is to be the bottom. So what we'll do is we'll put in a corner first. I always put it in the top corner first, and you'll feel it's really snug. And then clip down the one tooth on the top, and the other one, and then there's just this one. And then carefully, there we go. And yeah, it looks great. It feels great. It's very sturdy, very tight, fits well against the Xperia Play. Full access to the buttons, 3.5-inch jack, speakers, USB port. It even has a little cutout there for the microphone. The slots for the shoulder buttons are just massive. There's so much space that they made there for these things. Just look how much chrome is showing, and look how much of the case underneath is showing before it actually, you know, the case, the transparent case it shows over the backing. So much of the backing shows. So, you know, I guess if you have massive fingers, you know, this is a great case for you. The volume rocker, easily accessible. It sort of has like the same kind of design as the second crappy case that I showed you. So, you know, even though it's covered up here, you can still easily access the rocker. And of course, everything is easily accessible on the Play when you open it up. It's a great case overall, and I'll probably start using it again once I get a skin, a custom skin for the phone, but I want to do one that's kind of like a montage of all the video game systems, TurboGrafx, Sega Genesis, Masters, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, maybe, and slap on a bunch of like characters like Link, Spyro, Mario, Bonk, but, you know, no companies will actually let me do that, which really sucks. So yeah, so that's it for the transparent case. It's a great case. If you're looking to get one, I definitely would recommend it. So now we'll take it off. One thing I should point out is when you take these off, because they are plastic, they are prone to breaking and snapping off, and you don't want your teeth to snap off on these things. So what I recommend doing is to dig your nail in right beside it, and you want to pull away and then down, because you don't want to pull straight down, right? So there we go. That's one off, and same here. There's the other one off, and then it's gonna go pling. It's gonna flick off because, like I mentioned, the corner teeth, they fit very snug against the phone, so it's gonna want to shoot off. So you're gonna want to catch that. Now it is a very plasticky case, so if you do drop it, the case itself will probably not survive, yet your phone probably will survive. But I probably should have pointed out at the beginning of this review, if you're a Butterfingers, somebody prone to dropping their phones, you're not going to want any of these cases. You're going to want like a Trident, a Gaius, an OtterBox. These ones are mainly for people who don't drop their phones, but they want to protect them against the slight bumps and scratches. So that's the transparent case. It's a great case, it still works, and it was a great buy at like $5. The most expensive one out of the three so far. Now the fourth case I bought, I'm not going to show you just yet. I'll show it to you last. I'm going to show you the fifth case that I got though. And I bought this fifth case because it was somewhat very interesting, as it is a hybrid of plastic and silicone. So most of it is plastic, and then it's got this black silicone sort of coating along the very edges, which is pretty unique because it is silicone. It's not going to snap off, right? And so it's basically like a large tooth that grips your phone all the way across the circumference of the case. Same with the top piece as well. Now, while it is a unique case, it's unfortunately somewhat ugly. Like, I don't know if it was part of the molding process, or maybe if the guy who was cutting it out of the mold was drunk, but like, okay, if you notice this corner, you know, it looks alright. It looks fine, you know. Same with this one. It looks alright. There's not a problem. This one, you know, it looks rounded normally as well. And then you get to this one, and it's like, what is this? If you can see this, it sort of comes along, and then it bulges out, and then it comes back down again. Like somebody was using a Dremel drill to like sand it down, and they just kind of went way too far. And they were using like a Dremel drill that's got like like a sanding bit the size of a loonie, and they just went too far, and it just went and it took out like part of the frame. And if anybody's ever built plastic models before, they'll notice sometimes there's like really thin bits of plastic that stick out. That was like, you know, when the metal came down and they injected the plastic, sometimes it squeezes between the two metal plates. Well, there was like a whole bunch of that on here, and I had to get an X-Acto knife and sort of score it all off. The bottom piece, let's get to it. It's got like the single teardrop. It's got like a double, well, the smaller teardrop with the microphone hole, which I like. It's got the 3.5 inch and plug with the speaker, and this one, lo and behold, has only the speaker port hole, and does not open and wide like this one. This is the way it should be. These USB there. It's got a cutout for the microphone for your voice. It's got a cutout for the Xperia Play, the Sony Ericsson logo. The volume rocker is covered with a silicone, and I'll get to that in a minute. It's a little off. It's, as you can see, it's not quite straight. Not really a big deal, I guess. Here as well, you'll notice this kind of comes up a bit. It's a little odd. But anyways, let's throw it on, see how it looks. So it doesn't really matter how you put this one on. You don't have to worry about teeth breaking. So just slap it in there. Go around the whole device itself. Make sure that everything's on, nice and proper. And we'll do the same thing with the top. I don't think there is a top and a bottom for this specific top piece. When I initially got it, I put it on, I looked at it, I didn't like it, and I went back to my previous one, which is the one I'm going to show you next. But it's an okay case, you know. The material, it's not like the hard plastic like on the clear case. It feels like something that would actually be able to withstand a fall and would not just shatter like that transparent case, you know. I imagine this is a very rugged case, and this would probably actually last longer than any of the other cases that I've shown you. And well, you've seen 2 of them, they've already broken, so yeah, definitely. So you got full access to you know, the microphone, the flash, and the camera. Access to the power button is all good. Access to the speakers, the 3.5-inch jack, the USB, even the microphone for when you're talking into it. It's all there. It's kind of weird. As you can see, this hangs really low, and it shows a lot of the lower shell off the screen, and does the same on this side as well. It doesn't matter how you put it on, it does that, which is a little bit weird. I don't really like that. I don't like how it looks, but you know, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, right? It's your own special preference. But at any rate, that's the silicone plastic casing. Oh, and one more thing I should mention though. The rocker cover here, when you're pushing down on it, you have to push down before you actually feel yourself come into contact with the volume rocker, and then you got to push it some more. And you do kind of have to put a bit of weight into pushing on it, which is a bit of an annoyance. Which also means, because it is silicone, in cold environments in the wintertime, it's going to be even harder to push down on. So that's the case. I think I got this for maybe $4 or $5 as well. This one wasn't really that expensive either. If you don't like the fact that it's got black on it, oh, also it's got the same kind of teeth as the previous. Oh no, wait a minute. That's the clear one I'm thinking about. Okay, anyways, if you don't like the fact that it's got, if you don't like the fact that it's a clear, sort of cloudy plastic with a black, this one is a little bit hard to get off, because it's like, the whole silicone thing is just like one long row of tooth that grips onto your phone. So that's one good thing about this case, is that you'll never have to worry about it popping off by accident. So as I was saying, if you don't like the fact that it's black, you can get one that's either white, or one that's clear, or one that's blue, pink, orange, red, green. There's just a whole bunch of different colors that you can get. I went with the black one just because the Xperia Play is black, and black goes with anything, pretty much. So that's it for the transparent silicone case. Aesthetics aside, it's a good rugged case, and I would recommend it. And the wide variety of different colors is great if you, well, if you like adding a little color to your Xperia Play. So now the last one that I want to show you is the one that I currently use. It was the 4th one that I bought, and I think it was absolutely the best one out of them all. I should point out, I don't really like gel cases, but this one is very nice indeed. As you can see, the gel case, and this is the front, it has a bit of a screen protector. It's quite thin, and it doesn't really impede my ability to push buttons on the Xperia Play, which is excellent. Sometimes I do have to push down a little harder when I'm texting, and maybe that means my whole finger gets, you know, like more contact with the screen, so I tend to push maybe other buttons by accident. So autocorrect's always jumping in there and making my messages more obscene than they're supposed to be, you know, which, you know, is always great for damn you autocorrect.com, but anyways. So this does have a bit of a row of a tooth. It's got like one large tooth right along the whole bottom here, and it has another tooth along the whole top here. It has a hole for the camera, the speaker, and for the light detector, and it also has this raised button covers as well. So everything on the front of the phone is covered, and it's really great. The only problem with it is just like the volume rocker, I've noticed in winter environments they do get a little bit hard to push, but that is a small price to pay for the fact that this offers so much coverage on the phone. Now as for the back, it has the half teardrop with the microphone cover, and this is a very small one, but you can see everything. You can see the flash, you can see the camera, and that's all that shows. It's just the flash, the camera, and this is just wide enough to allow for the flash and the camera to be seen. Power button cutout, 3.5 inch. This again has just a little hole for the speaker on the other side, USB, and yeah, that's it. It doesn't have the cutout for the voice, for the microphone, for the first microphone, which is fine because you know what? It doesn't even need it, because there's always a little gap in between there anyways, so you don't even need that. So let's put this one on then and show you how it looks. So when you put this one on, you'll want to line it up. Maybe put the teeth into the top first, and then once that's on, you want to make sure that the camera and the microphone are nicely lined up, and then just push it over the back, and then there you go. The backing is on. It's pretty simple to put on. There's not much struggle with it. The front part of the case is a bit of a different story. It's like off by a few microns, to tell you the truth. I'll put on the bottom first, and when you put on the bottom first, you'll notice right away that it just looks great along the buttons. It's just flush with the buttons. But the thing is that when you're putting it on, you actually want to make sure it's not stuck to the screen, and you have to pull it a bit, and you want to make sure that everything's centered properly up at the very top before you actually clamp it into place. But then once you do, you'll probably notice that the buttons on this side, the case sits a little higher than the buttons themselves, but that doesn't impede performance at all. But once it's on, it does look really good. It's a very good case. The volume rocker, you have to put in a little bit of pressure to use it, but not much. It's instantaneous. There's no space in between the silicone and the rocker itself, which is great. Pardon me, I just ate. There's plenty of space for you to press the shoulder buttons. I've never had a problem with that. As you can see, it's very the teardrop for the flash and the camera is very small, but everything is still visible. Nothing's covered. The microphone, you have room to get at the power button. Though this, if you notice, the speaker ends here. This could have been closed off a little bit more, say around there. They didn't have to leave so much space for this. This looks great. There's not very much room at all for this, and the micro USB plug, it's not really that big, so it's not this huge area that's open and exposed like on some cases that I've had. The speaker, as you can see, the speaker hole is not that big. Again, another 1/16 of an inch could have been shaved off here, and they could have brought this up a little bit more and closed it off and not had such a massive hole there. Then again, it's not that big of a deal. One thing you'll probably notice on this is, yeah, you can see that, right? You know what? That's not a big deal. And you know why? Because when you do this, oops, pardon me. See, when you do this, and you notice how the holes, how all the bubbles are starting to disappear, eventually you'll get it down to a point where you'll still have a bunch of bubbles across the screen, but you know, you can, if you want, you can spend an hour and do this. And this is going to take a while, but you want like a bubble about maybe this size, this square bubble here, and you want to push it along the screen, and you can collect all these little bubbles inside of it, and then just push it out. And then you can just push it out along the edge, and eventually it'll look completely flush against the screen, and you won't have any bubbles except along the bottom here. You'll have a big bubble about this size along the bottom, but the rest of the screen will be completely devoid of any bubbles, and it really does look great. But obviously I'm not going to sit here for an hour and show you how to do that. But you know, believe me when I tell you that it can be done, and that you can get rid of all the bubbles on this, and then it'll look really, really good. So yeah, this is the last case that I got. This case was about $7. I had been looking at it for a couple of weeks, and then eventually I decided on it because I did find a seller that was selling it for a little bit cheaper. So, you know, bubbles aside, it's still a really great case, and the place that I work at, everybody has seen all my cases, and they say this one looks the best. It's got the best coverage, even though it is a gel case. And the one thing I don't like about gel cases is stuff like this. Like, see how it doesn't sit quite against the case? So it's like, but I was actually thinking of taking a lighter to this. Just holding it underneath, take this off the case, hold the lighter underneath it until it just bends in enough so that when I put it back on, it'll sit flush against the Xperia Play. But that's going to be a test that I try another day. Otherwise, I'm really happy with this case, and this one is definitely worth the $6 or $7 that you may spend on eBay. And it doesn't impede anything. So yeah, that is the clear full body case, I guess, for the Xperia Play. It's got a smoky color to it, which is one thing that kind of threw me off, but you know what, it looks great now. I mean, you can still see the logo on the back of it. You can see everything on the front. It doesn't really have any problems when it's like that, and I want you to see that. Alright, so yeah, and there you go. Everything pretty much works fine. You can see, huh? It doesn't really impede you very well. Doesn't impede anything. You can pretty much do whatever you want. Let's see here. Yeah, alright. So that's not bad at all. It works fine. And I already have a screen protector underneath this already, so basically I have two screen protectors on the screen right now, the case and the shatter guard screen protector. And you know, it doesn't really impede the touchability at all. So all in all, this is a great case. It's my favorite one out of them all. And well, thank you very much for watching YouTube. This is Big MU Gamer, and happy Xperia playing.